not working. Well, you and I have talked about this before, but when I didn't realize how much, I derived my worth from work before this pandemic. I knew that I did on some level. But I don't know. I always kind of felt like in the past, if I wasn't working, it was my fault. So I could beat myself up. And that's why I was upset with myself. This was the first time I wasn't working, and it wasn't because I didn't book a job or whatever. It's because there's viruses floating around the world. Everything gets shut down. So I should be very kind to myself and be like, okay, we'll hunker down, we'll figure this out, and we'll get back to work on stuff once we get back. But I didn't. Instead, I was still feeling worthless. And I was like, why can't I just be okay with me? I'm not being Zach on a set. If I'm not being Zach with my cast and crew and taking care of people and loving people and entertaining people there and making a thing that's going to go entertain people outside of here for years to come. Why can't I feel like I'm worth anything if I'm not doing some version of that, or, working and producing and creating? Why can't I? Because I still didn't love myself enough. I still don't. I'm still working on valuing myself enough to be okay. If I don't do another TV show or another movie or another play or another song or whatever, if I had to switch careers right now and go do something else, am I going to be happy with myself? Am I going to love myself?
I'm trying. I'm listening to this and I'm going, my therapist is always Sandy, Sandy, yeah. But Sandy's always like, you're worth it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm totally worth it. Yeah, I know. I'm talented. I know. But I'm not, it's not settling in. It's not.
Yeah.
And it's just such a weird dynamic where it's like, I don't hate myself. I don't look in the mirror and go, you're a terrible, fucking awful person. But I do think, I definitely can't say I love myself. I cannot say that, honest to God, gun to my head. Somebody said, do you love yourself? I cannot say yes. That's for sure. But, and there are moments, right? You go in these phases where it's like, oh, you're just such an asshole, dude. You're fucking, and then you're like, you know what? That was a really good thing you did. And you didn't do it because the cameras were rolling, or you didn't do it because you wanted people to like you. You did it because you really have a heart. And there are ups and downs of that sort of validation and like validating yourself for certain reasons. And, so that's all a balancing act. And that's part of the whole therapy and all this. Look, enough about me. This is about you. But so you could be my therapist.
Well, just to add to that a little bit, and also circle back on what I was going to then get into when I was talking about how I kind of recognized that I was deriving so much of my worth from my work. Another thing that I recognized was dopamine. And this is through, by the way, this is also like 40 years of life and, knowing things now that I didn't know before. So I can not connect dots that didn't make any sense. But dopamine is a really fascinating drug in our bodies. And it's really a reward drug. So serotonin is by the way, I'm not even, don't quote me on any of this stuff. but
we're just actors talking about things.
Yeah, but serotonin seems to be more of a love drug, like kind of a more steady feel of things are okay, right? A peace or that kind of stuff. Whereas dopamine is the excitement. Dopamine is the little shot, and we get them playing video games. This is why people become addicted to video games. This is why people become addicted to certain drugs that give them dopamine. But it's also why people get addicted to work, because every single time you achieve a little goal, you get a little shot of dopamine in your body. It's your body. Evolutionarily, our bodies were designed to help us propel forward. Literally, you get little shots of dopamine throughout your day. When you're playing a video game, every single time you're playing a shooter game, every time you kill a guy or you level up or you get the new gear or a new map opens up, like they design apps, they design games, they design them specifically for these reasons so that you have all these little dopamine checkpoints.
Like a lunchbox. Same thing. There's a little shot of dopamine there. It's a small shot, but it's dopamine. Go ahead.
That's what I was saying. You get that little shot because you've check, got that Empire Strikes Back.
And then it goes down. Got it, done.
Yeah, and then it goes down and you got to do another one, you get another shot. Right.
Get rid of it.
So what I didn't realize was I had basically stripped myself of all of my little dopamine shots because I have been grateful and very blessed to have been working as consistently as I've worked in my career. But that going for the most part, from job to job, you know, there were definitely seasons of life that were drier, and those were also, as it turns out, shocker, more depressed states in me, because I didn't have enough hobbies or other things that I was accomplishing. I was always wanting to go to work, and when I was at work, I got all the dopamine that I needed. Because you show up to work, by the way, getting up, this is why there's scientists and like there's this, I think there's a Navy SEAL has this great commencement speech and he talks about tucking in or making your bed in the morning. And the reason why you make your bed in the morning is because it's the first shot of dopamine you get.
It's an accomplishment. You accomplish making your bed. And
it's a little, and they don't need to be big accomplishments.
I do it.
They need to be little accomplishments.
Do you do it?
Getting up, make your bed.
You make your bed?
Go to the bathroom, brush your teeth. Take the shower, shave, whatever all those little things. And we don't think they are, but they actually are little teeny accomplishments.
Wow.
When you go to work as an actor, you show up, hopefully you're on time. Accomplishment. You say hi, you've got some community there. You're seeing your set PA or your base camp or whatever. Cool.
The director hugged you.
Sure.
When you could do that.
Now you're rehearsing. The rehearsal process is an accomplishment. You're going through, you're figuring things out. You're figuring out where you're going to stand and you're figuring out your lines if you don't already know them. And you're working it out with the other actors and the director and all that. And that's one big.
And then your takes and then you do a take and it's great. And then it's a dopamine. Exactly. It goes on. And then you go home, you're exhausted and you start the whole day over.
Exactly.